And welcome back to another Sudoku Solve. Well, let's hope we solve it uh, on this channel. We've got quite an interesting looking one. Face value on here, as you can see, is called Jerusalem Cross, and you can probably understand why it's called that. It's by Arlo Lipof. We've got, let's just get into the rules, I guess. Let's get, rules are every row, every column, every 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 once each, because this is a 9x9 Sudoku. In cages, digits cannot repeat and must sum to the number given in the top left corner. So that would be killer cages. Essentially just means what it just said. These digits have to equal whatever that sum is. And we got a circled digit indicates exactly how many circles contain that digit. So if this was, let's say, a 1, there could never be a 1 in any more circle because you can only have 1 in the circles. You could correlate that through to every other number. So those are the rules, not a bunch of them, not too complicated, but let's see if we can get into this and get it solved. So where's the first place to start? I think I'm seeing some of these killer cages that are quite high. We only have 5 digits to get into them. So like say this 35, the only possible solution to get to 35 in 5 normal Sudoku digits is 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And if you look at this 8 and this 8, the 8 is ruled out from all of those digits. This would have to be an 8. The same is going to go, I don't want to type those 9, 7, 6, 5 just yet, I don't think. Try to keep it uncluttered as long as I possibly can. The only other one that looks like it might really give me some information is this 34 cage, which has to have 9, 8, 7, 6, and 4. Now, the 6 sort of helps. It could be either one of these two, but that doesn't look like it's really the way to go. So we're going to switch tactics real quick to a more logical, I guess, way of looking at it. So we know that we've got, well, I guess this does actually, let's type this in just because it'll illustrate my point of what I'm trying to say. We know this is 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. It's just the only way you can do it. We've now placed the 9 within one circle, wherever it happens to land, which now tells us that every single region or box must have a 9 in it that is within a circle. So what does that tell us? It tells us there has to be a 9 in one of these. That removes the 9 from here. It also tells us there has to be a 9 over here looking at it. So if we got these two 9s, that creates an X-wing and removes 9 from all of those. That forces the 9 over here. Now we knew this one had a 9 in it as well. So one of these is the 9. Now we know that one of these is the 9. Let's type those in just so that they're clear. Now none of these can have a 9, so this one must have a 9. This 31, could it ever not have a 9? It would, well, it could be 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. That doesn't add up, is a problem. So we're forced to put a 9 in here. Now again, we have to have the 9 here, because this box is required to have a 9, so there's no 9s in any of these, and we end up with a 9 over here. This looks like it's going to go around in a circle and not give us a whole lot to start, so let's just put those in, and then move on to something which might make more sense, like this 8K, or these 8s. Now, we know that there's an 8 in the circle, so there has to be 8 8s within circles. So 8 of the 9 boxes must have an 8 in them. Well, we know these two 8, and the reason why we know that, I didn't say it, this is why. This 8 is outside of a circled area, so that takes up the only region that does not have an 8 in a circled area. So therefore, this 8, seeing this, will now tell us that this has to be an 8. And that's going to now tell us there has to be a 9 in one of these two, and that points down here and gets rid of these 9s and forces this to be a 9. Now that 9 is going to come over here, and it feels like it's going to reciprocate around the board, Can't have 9s there, so that has to be 9. Can't have 9s here, so that has to be a 9. This can't be a 9, and we've come full circle, so that is the 9. Now, that doesn't do much for us on these ends or in the middle here just yet. And we know there is a 9 in one of these. Just like we said before, you can't get to a 31 without using a 9 in 5 digits. Now, is there anything else we can look at? Can we go back to our 8s and look a little closer? Because we just used that 8 to create the 9 separation. And we know there has to be an 8 in one of these. With this 8, that now rules out all of these being 8, and there has to be an 8 in a circled cell in this region, so that has to be 8. None of these can be 8, so then we're forced to put an 8 here. We've got no 8s in any of these. This must be an 8. That comes back around again and gives us 8s. We've now got a 9 and an 8 in this box, or these 3 circles. The 8 isn't over here because of this one. What am I missing in terms of 8s? Well, I've got 2 8s. I just hadn't gotten there yet. So this is the 8. So that is all of our 8s, is it not? It is. Can we do something with these 9s a little bit further? Or do we have to wait to finalize? It looks like we need to wait a second. So the next step would be, let's look at 7s. So we know there is a 7 in a circle, and I probably could have added up all of these circles, and it might turn out to be something, but it doesn't look like we need to do that at the moment, so I'm going to steer clear of that for a second. We know that there is a 7 in a circle, so therefore there has to be 7 7s, as we've stated previously for other numbers. We've already got 2 7s outside of circles, so all of the other circled region, or circles within regions, there must be a 7 in a circle in all other regions. Fumbling around to say that correctly, but that's the logic of it. So there's not a lot of 7 going on here. There has to be a 7 in one of these, which just forces this to not be a 7. But because we still need to have a 7 in this region, this must be the 7. And that gets rid of this as a 7. Now we don't have a 7 in any of these, so one of these is a 7. Okay, there's no 7s in any of those, and that's fine because we've got that 7 there. This has to be a 7 because this region must have a 7 in a circle. That now rules out all of those as 7s, which means this is a 9-7 pair. I didn't mean to do that. Where else do we have 7? So these can't be 7. Once again, we're going to get a 9-7 pair. There has to be a 7 in one of these, so this has to have a 7 in it. It's not quite a pair just yet. Can we do anything with these numbers, perhaps? Maybe not just yet. Because we've got 9-8-7 and 9-8-7, which is 24. So that leaves us with 5 here and 7 here, which I don't think we can use just yet. So can we go into 6s? It looks like we can. We know there's 6s in a circle, at least one, so then there has to be 6 of them. We've got 3 different 6s outside, so once again, we come back to there has to be a 6 in every other region in a circle. So that has to be 6. In this one, this has to have a 6 in it. None of these are 6s, so one of these has to be a 6. Can't have 6s in any of those. It means one of these is 6. That's not all that good. What about in here? We can't really rule out too many 6s. I mean, none of those can be, but, well, that one can't be either, but because of this, but we could have 3 locations of 6s here. Maybe we can use this guy. So we've got 9-8-7 already. We need to have 2 digits that equal 10. 9-8-7 is 24. The box is 34. We know, Well, we don't know that there has to be a 6 in this grouping. But what else could it possibly be? We've already used 9, 8, and 7. We can't use those again. We have to get to 10. The only other options are 6, 4, or 5, 5. We cannot repeat a digit in a cage, so this has to be a 6, 4 pair to get us up to 10. Now, that does not mean that this has to be a 6, because this could be the 6, and this could be the 4, which would force 6 down here. I don't see a 4 that can tell me which one is which. I know one of these is a 6. So we've got 6 up here. We've got 6 in one of those 3. Yeah, we already looked at that. That wasn't all that useful. So what was the next go? We've done 9 up to a point. Our 8s are done completely. Our 7s are done up to a point. Well, there has to be a 7 in here, in one of these. And now that we've ruled out the 7 over here, so I'm glad I came back to this, because this used to be a possibility of a 7. Now that we know that one of these, we already knew that one of these had to be a 7. And one of these has to be 7. So we've created an X-wing. So none of those can be 7. So therefore this is 9. This is 7. It's now removing the 9 from these, so it forces the 9 to go here. Now we've just put 2 9s in to remove those 2. So this is the 9. These can go away. I think our 9 should be pretty close to done. Yep, that 9 sees that. So that's 7. That's 9. We now got 2 9s looking at those. So this is the 9 here. This cannot be the 7 or the 9. So this is the 7. So I think we've done 9s. We said we did 8s already. 7s I think we're probably done with. Right? Or are we? Well, we know the 7 has to be here. So it has to be in a circle, and we've got these 2 7s seeing. So this is 7. This now forces this to be 6, which forces this to be 6, which forces that to be 4 and 6. And I think that gave us what we needed to finish our 7s. Yes, it did. So that is the 7. So our 7s are done. Now the 6s look like they were just about to cave here. So there's no, this 6, yep, will give me the 5 and the 6. And now we have to have a 6 in this region somewhere in a circle, and these can't be, so this is the 6. So that 6 finishes our 6. That's all, right? Yep. So next would be, well, let's look at this cage. We've got 4 of the 5 already. We've got 9, 8, 7, and 6. That equals 30. We have to get to 31, so this must be a 1. We've got 9, 8, 7 here, just 24. These have to equal 9. I don't know that that's super useful at this moment, and I don't know. Well, maybe this 1 will help us, because we've got something. We know there's only one 1 in a circle. We've already got that 1. We didn't know there had to be 1, but now we do. So that removes 1 from all of these. It also removes 1 from all of these. So we've got these both having to be 1. We know there can't be a 1 in any of those or any of these. Now we know there's got to be a 1 here. Can't be a 1 in any of those. Because of these 2, we know that none of these can be 1s. These are not 1s. These are not 1s. None of these can be 1. We've got another 1 going, looking this way. So all of those are out. That didn't really give me what I thought it might give me. It gave me a bunch of X-wings. And then some corner bits. I don't know that we can do much with 2s. Oh, here's something. We've got a 4 here that sees all these, and this region doesn't have a 4 yet, so this is a 4. Now, we know there are 4s in 4 different regions. We've already got 1, and we know that this one, because of these 2 4s, has to have a 4 in it somewhere. And that actually is going to give me some math I can do, but we'll continue on the 4 parade for a second. So we have to have 4 total 4s. We've got 2 so far. Okay, so we've got 1 here. We've got 1 here. Looking at this 4, we have to have 1 here. So that's 3. We can only have 1 more. Can we determine where that is? Well, let's look at them. This can't have a 4 in it because we see it 4s here. This can't have a 4 in it because it's got that 4 there. This one already has a 4. This one doesn't. This one does. This one doesn't. Where was this one? Does. It's 1, 2, 3. So these are the last 2 that could possibly have one. There can't be a 4 in any of those. So this has to have a 4 in it, is what that's saying. Because we've got this cage, and this cage. Now this one's been ruled out by this 4. This has to have a 4 in it. So this is a 4. One of those 2. And I'm going to only write this in because I'm going to do a little bit of math now. And I'll finish that off. So we've got 9, 8, and 7, which is 24. We also know there has to be a 4 in it, so that's 28, which leaves us with 5 left over. So we've got to have a 4 and a 5 in here. We've got a 5 here, so that gives us our 4 and 5. Now that 4 sees that 4, so it tells us where this 4 has to go. So our 4s are technically done. We can go back now and look at this one because we also have some math we can do. We've got 9, 7, and 6, so that's 22. And we add another 4 to it, that is 26. And we have to have a 4, 5 pair. There is no 5 to give me that, but we can look over here in this row now and say these have to be 2 and 3. Nope, not that one, 2 and 3. And there's nothing looking at it there either. Let's do the math just to make sure that works. 9, 8, 7 is 24. We need 5 more. 2 and 3 equals 5. So that's good. That forces these 2 digits to be 1 and 4, and we've got a 4 here. So this is 1, this is 4. That 1's going to give us our 1 over here. Okay, so what are these 2 digits? We need 2 and 5, and we've got a 5. So that's 2, and that's 5. This row is now done. This row needs 2 more digits. We could do it this box either way, and they have to be 2 and 3. Is there anything else I could have done with the 4? Can do with the 4? Should I say yes, there is. By Sudoku, none of those can be a 4, so this is a 4. That rules out 4s in all of those and this, so one of these 2 has to be a 4. Was there anything? You know, there's a 4 over here and 4 over here. So, okay, so that's where we are with 4s. How about 5s? Seems like we were pretty much close to being done with them as well. Well, those 5s see this box and roll out 5s from all this, so we know there has to be a 5 in here. Once again, we've got 9, 8, 7, which is 24, plus 5, which is 29, and we have to get to 31, so these have to be 2 and 5. That forces these to be 1 and 3. We have a 3, so that's going to give us our 1 and 3 and finish our 1s. This is now actually done because this row, and it has to be a 2. We're just going to finish this, which has to be a 3. Let's do the math just to make sure we haven't messed up. 9, 8, 6 is 23, plus 7 is 30. So that's looking good, which is good. It's always a sigh of relief when the math adds up once you've been doing Sudoku. So we've got 1 and 2 left over in this row. They are not set, though. How about this one? We've got 3 and 5. Those are not set. At least I don't see it offhand. How about this row? 2 and 5 again. That's not useful because we don't have anything looking at it. Although, well, no, not really. I was going to say there had to be a digit here in this row to finish this, but this one is still open as well. How about we look at this box? Because we almost know everything. We've got 9, 8, and 6. So we're at 21 already. If I could add, we're at 21. 9 and 8 is 17, plus 6 is 23. So we need 8 more. So if we had a 2 here, we'd have to have a 6 here, but we can't have a 6 in here. So this has to be 3 and 5. And since I messed up the math once, let's just look to make sure. These are 9, that's 18. This is 26 and 31. So that does work. Now this 5 does differentiate between our 2 and our 5 and our 2. And that'll give us our 3 and our 2. This digit is actually a given now, and it must be the 5. These two digits are 1 and 3, I believe. Yep. Neither can be determined that I can tell. This has to be from 1 and 3. Okay. Oh, wait, let's go back here. Look at this 5, which gives us the 4 and 5, and that'll give us a 3 and 5. Now we've got a 1, 2, 3 triple in here. Can't differentiate that just yet. This 4 right here is seeing this 4. Okay, didn't notice that right away. We've now got this column, which only is missing 1 and 2. We've got a 2 there. That's 1. That would then be 3, so that has to be 1. This row now needs just 1 and 2, so they have to go in here, 1 and 2, which means this has to be the 3. That 3 gives us the 2 here. This row, or column, excuse me, needs a 1 and a 2. We've got a 1 there, so this is the 2, and that is the 1. That is 2 and 1. Looks like we're getting towards the end. Hopefully I haven't messed anything up, anything further, at least. That has to be a 3. This has to be a 5. This one, hopefully, is a 2. And look at that, we are correct. You solved the puzzle. Awesome. So that was a fun Sudoku solve. Nothing complicated necessarily in rule sets or even in the math. At some points, it stumped me because sometimes I just can't add. But other than that, it was pretty good. And it was pretty nice how everything kind of rolled together. There seemed to be a fairly clear way to get going. I dabbled in a couple of different things, but came out where it needed to be. So really enjoyed that one. Hope you guys did too, and hope you enjoy the content that I create. If you do as you see fit to let me know that. I won't get into specifics on what you should do. That's up to you guys, not me. Anyway, if you like this, let me know. Keep watching and let me know what you like and what you don't like. Both sides of the coin works for me because it helps me do a better job of what I'm trying to do here. So anyway, enough babbling. I hope to see you all in the next one, and I will get you something to look at. So see you all later. Have a good one. Bye.